What's up?
Is it better? Is it better, everyone?
Well, we'll find out. It was fine for me. Like, I didn't have any issues, so.
Yeah, I didn't notice any issues. You can have those.
I can.
So, what were we talking about?
Talking about Trump and
getting arrested. Yeah. So I think Georgia will be. I honestly think that the Georgia, New York, the Department of Justice, and January 6th, I think these people are all in communications with each other. I think that there's I don't know who will go first. I have a feeling it's still frozen, they say. I'm going to turn my Wi-Fi.
Good for you now. Okay. So Carnage says it's good. Sometimes it'll even out. So just kidding. Frozen again. Let's just give it a minute. Am I freezing on your end?
It's not frozen again. No. But I am okay getting now. Some.
Oh, she just went off. She'll probably come back. You feel like you jinxed it? No, because that's why we killed it and came back, is because it was freezing up. So what about now? Is it frozen with just me? This TikTok is wonky sometimes. I did their fast track program and I'm certified in just 4 weeks. Certified personal trainer in just 4 weeks? Yes. It's on other people's. Yeah. We're just gonna have to wing it then. I think it's a TikTok thing, but seems better now. Okay.
Okay, don't jinx it. Don't jinx it, Carnage.
So what about did you read this letter from Jim Jordan?
I did.
And what do you think about this? I'm reading it now.
Well, like I said, none of them are going to cooperate. And Jim Jordan's really did you know that Trump gave him the Medal of Freedom or whatever, just like a couple days after January 6th?
No.
He did. Yeah, what did he do? What did he do to deserve that? I think it was January, I don't know what day, but it was definitely after January 6th. Someone will have to get the date for me. I want to say maybe it was the 8th. So Jim Jordan got the presidential medal of whatever. He's not going to talk. And so Jim Jordan is the one where he tried to, when everything was going down, he reached for Liz Cheney's hand and tried to get her to safety. And she smacked his hand and was like, this is because of fucking you. Like, she said the F word and everything. And then someone else said that when they were in an undisclosed location, like in the bunker or, wherever they were when they were hiding, he was on his phone completely relaxed. They know he was talking to Trump at some point. So he's not going to cooperate because he's big in on it. I would actually venture to guess that if there were going to be elected officials that end up getting charged with a crime, he would be one of them. I do. Him, Marjorie Taylor. I'm still up on that. Marjorie Taylor Greene, but for sure Jim Jordan, Mo Brooks. Who was another one?
You gotta
Kevin
look
McCarthy.
at the ones who had the most to gain with Trump still being in power, or the ones that had the most help from Trump. He needed to have either something on people or have them owe him something.
Right.
What's up, Lily?
Yeah, I think Jim Jordan is going to be one that faces charges. I do. So yeah, it didn't surprise me that he wasn't going to cooperate. It doesn't surprise me. I think what we will see is a lot of non-cooperating. But there is one thing I did want, and you and I talked about this, about how they are going to, or that they're thinking about having the hearings in prime time. And I think that that is going to shed a lot of light, because even though, you know, like you and I pay attention, and, you know, a lot of people who are into that pay attention, I think the vast majority of the American public doesn't really know the extent of who was involved and what they were trying to do.
Well, it says that they've interviewed more than 300 witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
But any of the major allies of President Trump are not speaking.
But a lot of their staff are. So now, like they're getting a lot of firsthand information, like of people who were privy to, you know, like staff members and stuff like that. You know, I think that something I saw today, which made me pretty optimistic, and this is not about January 6th, but I did want to bring it up. So the Freedom to Vote Act and the John Lewis Act that they are going to put to vote. Well, one of the biggest concerns of that Freedom to Vote Act is that it didn't really address the laws that were being put into place that makes it easier for situations like this, for elections to be overturned. They changed that. And so the new bill, like Mark Elias came out because he was instrumental in helping them write the bill. And the new one has now fixed the holes so that all of the laws that they have passed so far to make it easier to overturn elections would be, so to speak, illegal or whatnot. And that news just came out tonight. And so what they're going to do is they're going to do this thing where they're going to bypass the filibuster, and then they're putting it to a vote on Monday, which is Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Right. Let's see. I was trying to read the letter.
What won't happen? Carnage.
Federal judge suggests Trump may have to pay up for January 6th. So even if he is not found criminally liable, it's very possible he may face a whole lot of civil lawsuits.
Yeah, but that's where Trump knows the civil lawsuit game, and he can play that out in courts for 10, 15 years.
Sure.
It has to be.
That's still going to cost him money either way.
I don't know. He'll be dead before then. I mean, he is old.
Cite my source. I'm reading this on Vanity Fair right now.
The vote is going to happen because they found a little loophole on bypassing the filibuster. And basically the reconciliation is going between the House and the Senate. And if it goes back and forth between the House and the Senate 3 times, then it can't technically be filibustered. So it will go to vote on Monday. Now, will it pass? I don't know, but it is going to go to vote on Monday.
So Merrick Garland last week said that the Justice Department will go after the people who caused the deadly insurrection, whether they were present that day or whether they were otherwise criminally responsible for the assault on our democracy. That to me sounded very like, we know we're coming up. Like, to me, that was like, whether you were there or not, who else would he have been talking to?
Yeah, I don't see where, they've had to hire hundreds and hundreds of investigators and prosecutors or, in the Justice Department. They've been working on this since January. So even though we're just getting little bits and pieces of, what's being dripped out, best believe they know the whole picture. They know, so I guess I don't have that same doom and gloom attitude that nothing's gonna happen. I think that I think it's a much different situation when we're talking about treason and sedition and coup and versus, you know, money laundering that happened for multiple years that you can get out of, you know, by paying people off. I think it's totally different.
So nolo magnum, if they weren't charged with an insurrection, what have they been charged with? And if they did nothing wrong, why are they facing any charges?
But again, the people who were in the Capitol are not going to be the ones that get the charges for the insurrection. That's going to be your higher level people that planned it. Those people didn't plan it. They were the pawns.
They were pawns.
They were pawns.
Yeah, it really has never been about them getting arrested and going to jail. It's been about Trump and his fucking crew who helped plot everything but walked away without any dirt on their hands.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. I actually think if I was one of those people that, you know, heeded the call to come to the Capitol and treason and like, I don't know how they don't feel completely abandoned, you know, about that they're the ones that are sitting in jail and, you know, the people who planned it are just kind of off scot-free. I think I saw, and I saw it, I didn't verify it, but I think I saw where one of them is actually requesting that Trump testify. Trump and who was it? Trump and who's the other person that they're calling to testify because they're saying, hey, this person called me here to do this, that they should go on the stand at their case.
Well, what I'm reading here is a federal judge is questioning whether Donald Trump's actions during his speech, as he considers for the first time whether Trump is immune from liability related to his supporters attacking the Capitol. So what the judge said is the words are hard to walk back. You have an almost 2-hour window where the president does not say, stop, get out of the Capitol. This is not what I wanted you to do. What do I do about the fact that the president didn't denounce the conduct immediately, sent a tweet that arguably exasperated things? Isn't that from a plausibility standpoint that the president plausibly agreed with the conduct of the people inside the Capitol that day? So this is what a federal judge is saying.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard for them to at least not get him on dereliction of duty because that's exactly it. And there's multiple witnesses and text messages where his staff is begging him to stop. His kids are begging him to stop. And there's witnesses where he's watching it on TV. And then also too, he had to take, there are multiple takes of that video that he did at the end when he told people to go home because they wanted him to say something and he refused to say it. He did not want to, he didn't want to discourage them or say that this is not what you should be doing. So they had to take multiple takes. Well, those things are on tape, like what he really wanted to say. Okay. And so also too, so there's the fact that he was watching it on television. He didn't try and stop it. People were begging him to stop it. He seemed to be enjoying multiple witnesses of that. And then when they had him record the statement, he refused to state, yeah, this is bad. You guys shouldn't do this. Like he was, you know, whatever. That shows him to be pretty guilty, but it doesn't necessarily tie him to the planning of it, right? So you have to be, this is where it gets hard for him is because he doesn't do anything via email or text or he doesn't put things in writing. So trying to actually connect him to the planning is where you run into you better have that case better be airtight. And that's why he's able to get off for this so many times.
That one is going to be the hard part.
Yes. But the thing that they do have, I mean, but if they have his chief of staff who did put things in writing, right? They have meetings, they have planning meetings, and then always the money trail. The money trail is going to be a big thing on this too. So,
always the money. That's
always
all it's ever been about for Trump anyway. We all know that.
Always the money. Yeah.
But I think a lot's going to come out in text messages, though.
Mm-hmm. And also that app that they use. Oh, and then we didn't even talk about, like, they had burner phones. Why would they need burner phones? So the Trump kids had burner phones along with, and then they were using that one app to communicate with, thinking that, you know, that the messages wouldn't be found. I mean, you know, and even what's his face's text message to who did he message? Was it Meadows? I don't know. Hannity's text message the night before that said, I don't think this is going to go down tomorrow the way that you guys think it's going to go down, and I'm really worried. I mean, that's got to be the most. So then you've got Fox News involved. They knew the plan. All the Republicans knew the plan. So yeah, I don't know.
So
thank you for the links, Train Gravel. So yeah, back to my whole thing about the doom and gloom thing. So the people who are, and I know it's hard to get like optimistic about anything, but I mean, you got to think about it like this. If we are continually on this, like, oh, nothing's ever going to happen, nothing's ever going to get better, the Democrats are going to get blown out, yada, yada, yada. Well, so we just accept that and do nothing? Like, we just lose all hope. Like, in history, that's not how people forged ahead. I'm pretty sure people were probably pretty depressed in World War II. You know, like, some brave people have to, like, be optimistic and say, you know what, we can do something about it. So it's just like the doomsday commenting is my least favorite comments.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. Because it's just like, okay, well then let's just give up. Let's just give up.
Well, that's what I'm hearing from a lot of people too. And the ones that keep saying, you know, oh, it's pointless to vote and everything, I just unfollow them. I can't with them anymore. Like, why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you on political TikTok? I mean, what?
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, I really just disagree with that. I think that you have to keep in mind, first of all, the Democrats have done pretty well with the redistricting maps. And I know there was a lot of doom and gloom about redistricting. Dems have fared really well on that.
They did.
So that doom and gloom, which was perpetuated, you know, with the news and social media, was false. There were some elections the other night. The Democrats had a clean sweep. I know you all didn't hear about it, but they did. There was some other good news where you have to keep in mind that the media and everyone, you get more engagement with doom and gloom than you do with positive news. And so that's why we don't ever think that there's anything positive happening. But there is. Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. You know, this is a new year. We have to be positive. This is midterms. Like, we cannot lose faith. We cannot lose hope. We cannot lose traction right now. We are so close.
We really are, you guys. Like, if we were to actually have a supermajority in the House and the Senate, I can't even, like, we would get healthcare passed. Like, we would get so many things passed. Now, keep in mind, you're always going to have bad actors like the Simmon and whatever and the Manchin. But if we can make them irrelevant, I think you have the first real opportunity at making real change in the United States that we've ever had. And Biden is not like the best president, but he's probably he's likely to do a lot more progressive things than presidents we've had in the past.
And he's,
So,
he's coming in to probably it's always the goddamn Republicans that screw shit up, and we have to come in behind them and fucking clean up their mess. Obama did it. Now Biden's doing it. And the first year is going to be rocky. It may take 2 years before we're completely out of this, but everybody's like, oh, what about inflation? Inflation is the worst it's ever been. 19 other countries are having inflation right now. It is due to supply chain issues worldwide. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Like, until that gets fixed, we're going to have inflation.
But let's talk about that. The highest since when? 1982, right?
Yes.
Who was president then?
Reagan.
Isn't he lauded by Republicans as being the best president ever?
Oh, God.
So inflation was okay? So inflation was okay under him, but bad?
He also used to say, make America great again.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, inflation is, and this is what I would say if I was, the Dems need to push back on inflation. And just like you said, 14 other countries, actually worldwide, inflation is an issue worldwide. So it is a byproduct of coming directly out of a pandemic and supply issues. And, that is, and also too, we have to keep in mind that here in America, we have companies that are just taking advantage of the fact that they can price gouge.
Yeah.
So, that's part of it too.
Look what they were blaming. I still see people laughing and putting shit on gas tanks about, oh, thanks, Biden. Thanks, Biden. I'm like, did you guys miss where Biden was asking the oil and gas companies why they still raising their prices? And they said, oh, we're not bringing them down because we need to, catch up on profit. Well, here's the other thing. Natural oil is going to be gone. They've said by 2040, maybe 2050, it's going to be gone. So we really don't have a choice but to move to renewable energies. And when things are gone or going to be gone, don't you think that these oil and gas companies are going to start hiking up their prices because it's running out? They know there's a limited amount left, and they want to get as much money out of it as they can. But there are other countries that have gotten smarter, and they are moving away from oil and gas. They know, like, we have to go to green energy.
But not only that, and that is a very good point. But, when we talk about like inflation, I think we need to also realize that the past 15, 20 years, how much has your housing went up?
Wait a minute. It is actually Trump's fault. You need to do some research on that.
And gas hasn't tripled. So gas is 3 something. It wasn't 1 something when, gas hasn't tripled.
It's like $2.
But here's the thing. So we're going to talk about nickel and diming in dollars, but we haven't said anything about the, policies that have led the housing increases to go up probably 100, 200% while wages have stayed stagnant. Like, if we want to talk about inflation, we probably should have a conversation about how wages have not kept up with inflation over the last 20 plus years. And you cannot put that on one president or one administration. So, if we're going to have the talk about why you have less money at the end of the month, please know that housing is a big part of that, along with the unregulation of the, your utilities, the fact that you are not making as much as the cost of everything else that has went up. So yeah, we can pick out oil or gas and milk prices, but that's not the big reason why people have less money at the end of the month. So
no. No, and Mr. Global too, he has made video after video after video about the oil and gas prices and how Trump started it, but OPEC is the one that sets the gas prices. But yeah, Trump had a lot to do with it too.
it, I mean, it's a conversation where, you've had 3 decades of the trickle down theory that's literally stripped the middle class of having extra money, and what we are witnessing is the tail end of that. So this is not something that you can put on one administration. We are talking about since the 80s, where the middle class has essentially just been robbed of having any extra money. So if gas happens to go up 25 cents at the end of or we're still in the pandemic, but yeah,
I'm not calling it the pandemic anymore. They said these pandemics last 3 years. So we're in the 3rd year. So this is the endemic. We are at the end of it. So I'm going to read Hannity's
Bernie
text
before someone says could have had Bernie. So I would like anyone to tell me what Bernie would have done differently. What progressive policies Bernie would have gotten through Congress with Manchin and Sinema.
Nothing.
We couldn't have had Bernie because he wouldn't have won. He would not have gotten the votes.
And even if he did, that's the thing. The president is not the utmost authority on law and order. And it's for a reason. We do not want to have a dictatorship. Everything has to come to an agreement. And our government can't agree on the most basic, least progressive, moderate fucking things. They're not going to vote on progressive things they're not going to give us universal health care and free child care. And it's just not going to happen.
You guys are kidding yourselves if you think Bernie would have won. There's no way. There is no way Bernie would have gotten the votes, because it just would not have happened. He's not. Yeah, no. I know we get caught up in our echo chambers, but Bernie out in the real world and the society and the people who actually do most of the voting, super socialist, progressive, that would not. We wouldn't have went from Trump to that. It wouldn't have happened. You need some people in between.
It's because people don't want to hear that the reality of politics, and especially in our government, everything is going to be very slow and incremental. There's going to be no major progressive changes in this country because people are too afraid of any of those things that we are trying to push for, because they consider it communism. Yeah, exactly. Anything.
But you're not understanding
communism.
Yeah. You're not understanding though. So I see your comment where you say many Trump supporters wanted Bernie, wouldn't vote for Hillary. But here's the thing. Corporations would never, the amount of money that would have flowed into Trump's campaign to beat Bernie because of the dark money and them knowing that putting a progressive socialist in office would basically take billions of dollars out of their pockets. I'm telling you, we wouldn't have seen Bernie. And not only that, how would Bernie overcome Manchin and Sinema? Like, how would he do a better job than Biden with getting things through the past? If you were to look at the history of Biden getting bills done over his political career and being able to work the politicians, he's much better at it than Bernie. So I don't see how politically you could say that Bernie would do a better job than Biden. You might say that you like his policies better. Like, I get that wholeheartedly. But just the mechanics of the job, I don't see it.
Yeah, it's just not realistic with our government and our current society.
I don't think Bernie's a communist.
Bernie is not a communist.
I don't think, I don't know what you would say your definition of a communist, but yeah, Bernie's not a communist.
He needs to define communism first before we even have that discussion. All right, so Hannity says we can't lose the entire White House counsel's office. That was on December 31st. Then he said, I do not see January 6th happening the way he is being told. After the 6th, he should announce will lead the nationwide effort to reform voting integrity. Go to Florida and watch Joe mess up daily. Stay engaged. When he speaks, people will listen. So that suggests to the committee that he had knowledge of concerns of Trump's White House counsel's office regarding the legality of the former president's plans for January 6th. What else can you read from that?
No, he knew the plans for January 6th. But also too, like, one thing I took from those text messages that I found really concerning is like how much was Fox News involved in the decision making of the White House during the presidency?
Well, you do know that they are pretty much responsible for getting him elected.
Right. And then I think they basically counseled him the entire time. So think about how outrageous. Imagine if proof came out that...
Well, they probably said, we got you elected, like, you owe us type of thing. I'm sure there was some quid pro quo shit going on.
Oh, for sure. But imagine if news broke that I don't know, Anderson Cooper directly texted, President Biden regularly about policies. Like, I don't know.
Right. People would flip their shit. But they're not even paying attention. And on January 5th, the night before, Hannity texted Meadows, "I'm very worried about the next 48 hours. And so the committee's letter went further and asked, why were you concerned about the next 48 hours? Mm-hmm. So that's just very, very strange.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi and the mayor did not decline 20,000 troops before January 6th. The way you guys just believe everything you read. Also, too, so not only did that not happen, and the number, just so you know, is not 20,000. It's like 15,000. It didn't happen. No one offered them troops. But here's the deal. That doesn't explain why the requests for help went unanswered for 3 hours that day anyway. So. No shit, Sherlock. We know why they were never leaked. That's blackmail material.
The date of January 6th been going around on social media for a while.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know what? All of my friends that are, Trump supporters on Facebook, we're talking a whole lot of mad fucking shit the week up before the election, saying, oh, wait and see what's going to happen. This is going to be a week. Oh my God, things are going down tomorrow. Oh my God, everybody stock up on everything. I mean, they were really, really, really going to town on it. They knew shit was going to go down. And here's the fucking thing. If I could see all this shit on my Facebook feed, and I'm just an average citizen, and I knew something was going down, I knew something bad was going to happen, you're going to tell me that the fucking president didn't know this shit? With Secret Service and all the fucking surveillance he has? Bullshit, he didn't fucking know. And he didn't have any fucking security there, and he had all these weird fucking rules for security, but when they have a Black Lives Matter protest, they damn near call the military out there? Get the fuck out of here. The fact that we vote for such old people is insane. That's kind of ageist. I'm not really a fan of that comment. There are plenty of young ass people that I wouldn't vote for.
Yeah.
Hey, Dennis.
there's some, we do have a lot of, I think it's time we give the younger generation, and really, like I don't agree that people in their 80s should be holding office. I think, there should be a limit. If there's a limit, if you have to be 35 to be president, then I feel like there should be a maximum limit too. But I mean, it is what it is. That's the least. I think we'd be better off just advocating for term limits, because then we wouldn't have the lifetimers in there, and then taking the money out of politics. Hi, Dennis.
Well, that's the thing. If we can only have 2-term presidents, make it 4 terms maximum for everybody else or something.
I think even 4 is too much, like 2. Like, it should just be public service. You're in and you're out. You can't get rich off of it. You can't trade stocks. You can't, it's just like a stint. It's a stint that you do.
They've used the government as a grift, and that's got to stop.
Yep. Hi, wife.
On January 6th, Trump did exactly what Republicans claimed Hillary Clinton in Benghazi. I don't think you can compare those, but whatever. It's kind of offensive that you would.
It's Katie Pierce with the whiteboard. Is it Katie Pierce? Katie. What's her last name? With the whiteboard. It's Katie with the whiteboard from California. It's Katie Pierce, I believe, is her last name. Katie Porter. Thank you. Porter. Sorry. I knew it was a P.
Have we figured out what is going to happen to the unhoused up there? No, I haven't heard any updates yet.
I'm on this way.
Did they ever find Pelosi's stolen laptop?
I thought they did. And I thought they did find it. And it was a gal, and she was trying to sell it. It was like a young gal, and she was trying to sell it. I thought they found it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. She was charged with multiple felonies. She was trying to sell it. I know that. Wasn't she trying to sell it to Russians?
Yes, both parties. We do have our fair share of crooked people on both sides, but that's why I think it's why we should vote progressive, because progressives do not take corporate money. And they also don't believe in trading in the stock market while they are in office. Look at AOC.
Hi, Chef.
And it's either one of them actually proposed a legislation that would prevent everybody from trading stocks publicly, correct?
John Ossoff. He actually just proposed it, or put it on the floor of the Senate tonight. Nancy Pelosi against it. I mean, there's a lot of people who are against that.
If you were talking about wanting to elect people that are going to vote in your best interest, and they're also not going to be crooked and take corporate money, why would you not want to vote in a progressive candidate?
Well, there is a former Green Party candidate that seems to be screwing everything up by the name of Kristen Sinema right now. So, I mean, she was in the Green Party. Yeah.
But she's not anymore.
Right, because she had to run on the Dem platform, but essentially she's basically a traitor and got bought out. So someone asked what I thought about the 2024 candidates. First of all, that's a long time. I personally think that I don't know. You guys are going to think I'm crazy. I think that what we will see is the Republican Party get absolutely decimated by after the January 6th stuff comes out. I think we will see a lot of people who have will be removed from office. I think you will see a new emergence of a different Republican Party, and I probably see it being like Liz Cheney being at the forefront of that on that side.
Liz Cheney, you think she's going to be?
I think I do. Well, first of all, she's got the Cheney name against her, backing her up. She is going to appeal to the conservative Republicans who are not Trumpers. I think that the Marjorie Taylor Greens and the Boberts and I think those people are all going to eat each other up. And I think that part of the Republican Party is going to implode. And I think Liz Cheney will emerge as the forefront on that one. Possibly with Mitt Romney, we'll see where he falls. As far as like the Democrat side, I think if Biden, I think you would see him as the nominee. I tell you who I'd like to see as the nominee. Hey, I would like to see Gavin Newsom as the nominee. Personally. I think he is doing some presidential stuff. I like him. I think he is I think he's a winnable candidate, and I think he has a lot of progressive policies. He just has first of all, did you see that he made a law in California where the price of insulin is going to be capped. So he's doing that on his own. He's doing something else with mandatory health care on his own. They are he is enacting the most progressive policies for that state.
They got a UBI. I think they just started out there too.
Yeah, they're testing. I can see him. If I were going to pick a Democratic candidate right now, he would be in my top 3.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
How are you, Sin?
Hi, Sin.
Fantastic. How are you? Hi, Kier.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm just I'm just listening to you guys, and it's funny because I was just thinking about I've been reading how fascism works, because I've been making this concerted effort with trying to learn more about the stuff that we're talking about. A lot of us have this working knowledge of how basic definition of fascism, communism, all that stuff, but we don't really understand what we're talking about. And including the left, I think a lot of us have gotten in the habit of just throwing it out there, not knowing what the hell we're talking about. Yeah. And so, being in grad school, being a psychologist, of course, my attention is kind of set on something else. And I don't get to be as involved as I want or as up to date. So, it's I'm here on TikTok. Why not use that resource and start asking Polititalk the questions? So I have notes and everything, madness through this book of questions and highlights, because I'm you know what? I'm going to start asking Polititalk, what the hell is this? Or have this discussion point, because I think a lot of us, as the midterms are approaching, would feel much better being a little more informed about the fundamentals. I know I certainly would. And I know people think that because you have an advanced degree, shit. It's no, I know about what I learned. I'm not, right. I'm not as informed as I would like to be. I think a lot of people are ashamed to say they're not as informed. We're not as bold as the right, where we're ready to flaunt our stupidity like a flag. Yeah. So it's great listening to you guys, because it's as much as I do know, it's I'm way more aware of how much I don't know. Right. And I would rather just be humble and say, hey, can you engage in this with me, explain this to me, walk me through this, than, just say, I don't think Dems are going to vote. I think Dems are going to vote. I think a lot of politicians have, on both sides of the spectrum, have rested on, we're just not informed. And some of us are more than happy to act like we're informed. And the rest of us are just I want to be more informed. So it's great listening to you guys, because I love Gavin Newsom. I do. I know a lot of people have some beef with him. I think he's really acting he's doing that bold shit that I'm okay, yeah, that's what you do. That's what you do right there. Even though everyone is just No,
No.
it's like,
yeah,
it's like, just do it.
I really feel like Gavin is like, ever since that he got out of that recall, he's like, okay, bitches,
Let's
now
do
I'm
it.
at
Yeah.
okay.
Now
Like,
I'm
I do
mad.
think
Right.
so.
Exactly. Exactly. Beto, I would love to see Beto win Texas. I would.
Beto, listen, Beto is I love me some Beto. I do.
I love Beto. I see
Beto
someone
is...
saying Stacey Abrams should run for president, and I'm actually against that because I feel like the country right now is so polarized, and you're banking. I am a Stacey Abrams fan, top to bottom, but it's like we have to actually gauge the climate of the country, because as much as we want to say the right isn't left, isn't ready for a progressive president, we already know what ignorance, the Republican Party is not the classic Republican Party, but even if it were, this is not the candidate that they want. But I don't believe the left is ready for a Black woman president either. And that's just by putting gauging how most of the country interacts with Black women and how they react to Black women saying certain things. So as much as we adore Stacey Abrams, on the broader scale, the grander scale, I would love to see her run for president one day. But now it's not the time to have her as that candidate. I mean, when Hillary ran, everyone's like, yay, Hillary. I'm like, this is the biggest fucking mistake you guys just made. Absolutely not. That was the wrong call. So
yeah. Wait, don't turn it on just yet. Sorry, guys. We're making some cookies here. Oh,
the left must know president.
I feel that Stacey is she's valuable elsewhere for right now.
Yeah. For sure.
Go ahead, turn it on. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I don't think that the next candidate on the Dem side, we're not at a place where it can even really be a woman. I hate to say it.
I hate to say it, but yeah.
I hate to say it. It can't be a woman. And if it was going to be a woman, okay, we know it can't be Hillary.
Yeah.
It's not going to be Kamala.
No. And, which is, I am a Kamala fan. I do like Kamala.
Yeah,
I really do.
I do like Kamala.
But look at the way they talk about her.
Right. Joe and the hoe. It's like, really, we're still, and that's the other thing. We're still at that place where a woman is being criticized by her. She's been married for how long? But being reduced to a sexual being, being reduced to the fact that, oh my gosh, he had the nerve to sleep with a man.
Yep.
it's just, and that was the left and the right. And I'm not gonna, the left needs to stop fronting like they did not disrespect her. It's like, you have been disrespecting her. You're not trying to say her name right. As much problems as we do have, I really want the left to start focusing on, we need to get some shit out of our systems and start addressing some of our biases, because it's impeding progress, thinking that we are progressive when we're just not. We're not as progressive as we'd like to think.
Oh no, we're not. And I've been really disappointed with people on the left. Like, actually, I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. I've been more disappointed with people on the left as of late.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to just smack. I mean, not smack, but it's like.
Are you just talking about?
No, I want to smack him.
Or just in general?
Well, not just no. I
no,
mean, not just
but in general.
I mean, just in general, I think that the expectations, like, Joe Biden hasn't done anything for who?
Right.
I could list off a million. I could list off.
My God.
I could tell you that there are millions of people that Joe Biden's done something for. I could list a ton of accomplishments that happened in the first 7 months. And it's just like, I think we've become accustomed to everything needs to happen right now. When in all actuality, like, if you've been paying attention to politics for any amount of time, for major bills to pass, they usually take over a year. Like, these are not things that, happen very quickly.
I think Schoolhouse Rock needs to come out again, maybe. So everybody, today I'm just a bill. Like, we need Schoolhouse Rock again, because that's how I learned that process.
Don't happen in weeks.
No.
Right.
And that's what gets everybody so frustrated. They're like, well, voting doesn't work, so let's just forget about voting and we're going to have a big revolution. Right. I'm like, you know who also tried that? January 6th. Go fuck around and find out.
But also,
it's not going to happen.
but also too, this one's my favorite. Joe Biden didn't cancel my student loans, so I'm gonna say fuck
Jesus
voting
fucking
and never
Christ.
like. So,
Jesus
so fuck
fucking
it.
Christ, man.
I didn't get my way, so no one else can have nice things.
So no one else can get theirs. Let fascism rule the fuck.
Because I didn't get my student loans. Like,
it's like, let fascism roll the fuck on in. It's like, you're still gonna have to pay student loans if fascism takes place too. Like, it's not fun being broke and oppressed. Like, take it from me, it's not fun. So like,
I'm not gonna vote because I didn't get my way.
Right, exactly. It's like, and I mean, of course we're talking about the left in general, but you know, we can't dispute that TikTok is a microcosm of the larger society. And on the left, I think a few weeks ago in someone else's chat, I was just like, I need, and please y'all don't get mad at me, but man, I need leftist white men to stop acting like they're everybody else's boss. We don't work for you. You don't get to head up the left. We don't answer to you. Right. We can correct you. Right. And we can say, hey, you need to dial that back, because sometimes I feel like when you're trying to work with them on the left, and not just white men in general, we're trying to work with you, and y'all talk to us like we are a brand new kind of stupid, and it's like, yeah, bitch, I can read better than you. What are you? What? Like, you barely made it out of high school science, and you're trying to tell me?
That's
tell me about my ideals. Yeah, it's like. And the left, they're very much having these temper tantrums of like, I need. It's like politics are not ramen noodles. You're not going to just put hot water on it and get a whole ass meal. That's not. It doesn't happen that way. I need y'all to chill out. Right. And it's. I think sometimes that because they think, you know, you've acknowledged that people deserve equal rights. We need to work towards equality and equity. Good job. You've gotten to the humanity 101. Good job. That doesn't mean that you've nailed it. You still have work to do. You still have biases and internalized things to undo. Myself included. Black people, we have shit to work out. We have shit to work out. Don't think that because you're a part of the marginalized community, you don't have shit to work out. You absolutely do. And I think that that's our problem, is a lot of people on the left are not willing to accept that they're flawed. Like, their ideologies are flawed. Their knee-jerk reactions are flawed. They don't want to have that ugly part in them, but it's like, it's there. And we got to address it to get it out.
Yeah. 100%.
Agree.
So, Cyn, what have you learned? Then she just dropped out.
She dropped out. She was like, I said my piece. I'm out.
I know. What the hell?
I'm out of here.
Ask her questions.
Peace out, bitches.
There she goes.
She coming back?
Yeah. I'm back.
Hi.
Hi.
I was going to ask you what have you learned about fascism? You said you've been reading about it.
Well, I've been looking at one of the interesting things that a lot of people like to point out, and that I noticed that they mentioned in the book, is that, you know, Hitler got the idea for how the Third Reich was set up came based on Jim Crow laws and things like that. And so one of my big questions is, if that is the thing, have we acknowledged that slavery, chattel slavery, was almost a model of fascism? Was that almost like the mold for it? Because the Jim Crow laws and that sort of thing, that came as a means to oppress Black people. So is it fair to say that slavery was in fact some form of fascism? Is it fair to say that, you know, as much as people are like, fascism, we're trying to, you know, fascism is on the rise, it's like, can we acknowledge that maybe fascism has always been a reality for marginalized communities? And while certain factions are starting to think that it's on the rise, it's been a reality for a lot of marginalized communities, which is why a lot of us seem very indifferent to it, because it doesn't seem very different from what we've been experiencing this entire time. Yeah. So that was like one of the things. It's like, is that something to be considered? And also, you know, that was one of the questions I had as I was reading it. And I've been reading about the program, the language that's used, and how it lends to that theory of linguistics, psychosocial linguistics, and just a pathology. I just reading through it. I mean, I have so much shit highlighted. I have questions just jotted down on notes. Like let me. Like, this is how this book looks right now. Like, just notes
wow.
notes coming out, because I'm just like, holy, just reading. I'm like, oh my god, it's really interesting to kind of go through those questions and think, like one, the psychology. Let me look into the psychology of right-leaning politics, because that is a good question. Why are people so anxious to get to their oppression? Why are they willing to sign up for this oppression? Is this very much the idea of, if I can't have this, no one can have it? Is this very much like a temper tantrum sort of thing? Or is this well, because it can't be my way, it's going to be their way, because their way works better for me by oppressing you? My own oppression be damned. Like, are people not seeing their own oppression? Like, does it not seem real for them? So,
well, you're taught, like, if you are born into this country, like, it's almost ingrained to you. You'll hear it a lot from people on the left. They're like, I used to be a conservative. Well, if you were born into America and you subscribe to, American dream and being pride in America, like, your default is going to be a conservative. So I think everybody starts there, and then they just start shifting one way or the other, or some people just stay there.
Right.
I would disagree. I don't think everyone starts there. I think that people are indoctrinated that, especially if you look at what we're taught in schools. But I think if you are not born into the privilege of benefiting from the stuff that you're learning about in the schools, that you are being taught to see right through it at home.
Right.
So I think that that's why you see the big divide. And that's why realistically we see this battle with, CRT happening right now, because really CRT is just white supremacy in a different package. That's all it is.
Right.
They're starting to ban books by Black authors.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's, I think, to your point, the system and the ideology of racism is so integral into American society and keeping the power, the position of power in place. And really, that is how the racism is how you get all those people in the South, all those poor people in the South and in the North, and to vote against their own interests, because it's fueled by the racism. And if we were to actually teach history the way that history was, and if we taught it the way that the Germans teach Nazi America, if we were to do that exact same thing, you would see a much different viewpoint and across the United States. We would be much more tolerant. We would be much more accepting. And then we wouldn't vote against our interests and vote in the interest of large corporations and big money and all that good stuff.
Well, someone in the chat
said, I've been looking at people, you drive by the houses and you know that these people don't have a pot to piss in, and you know that they vote Republican in every single election.
Right. And Politicano, someone in the chat, I believe it was Politicano, I hope I said that right, but he's like, people don't know what to look for. And it's like, that's part of my motivation, is because I'm not going to lie, before I actually started paying hardcore attention, I didn't know what to look for in terms of what does fascism look like in today's society. Yeah, it's looking at classic tenets, but what are the more innocuous things that are, infiltrating our brains? What are the symptoms of fascism? A lot of people love to just scream, commie or whatever, and it's like, do you know what that is? Do you understand these theories? And looking at how they attack university education, it's like they attack the humanities, but it's like, being a psychologist, it's like, I also know that psychology is rooted in racism. Hello, APA, giving out that effusive apology, which is, in my opinion, too little too late, honestly. But it's
Right.
like looking at how psychology is rooted in racism. Why work against something that is actively forcing people to still adhere to a very white centric way of behaving and believing and relating? You
Mm-hmm.
know, the psychology has pointed that we have to learn these behaviors. You have to learn racism. But there's also the theory of learning, which is one of my favorites, which is anything that can be learned can be unlearned. So how is it that we go about unlearning these things? Because they're against these universities that seem to be against their agenda, but all these universities are doing are reinforcing a lot of the lessons that we learned. It's just making people's broad, it's giving people the option to critically think. I do think that, but a lot of this
Mm-hmm.
curriculum is still very racist, very, culturally incompetent. So with fascism working against, you know it's like, are you working against liberal arts because they're called liberal arts? Because when you look at them, they're not very liberal at all. Or is it just because you understand the foundation of education? Even if you're teaching them the wrong thing, you're arming them with the ability to critically think and ask questions. Very. So that was like one of the things. It's like I said, I have like 1,000 notes in here, and
The
I,
hard
I plan on like starting a TikTok discussion of, just asking questions in my videos for anyone who can't answer them or offer some insight. And I plan on doing this because being in school, I can only get so much reading done outside of my curriculum. And I plan
Right.
on doing this for fascism is my first focus, but I also will focus on socialism and communism and Marxism and capitalism, because people keep saying it's capitalist system. It's like, but do you really understand capitalism? You know, it's that thing of we just us having to be, I think, on a, like I said, the left needs a lot more humility. We need to be able to say, I don't know it, I don't understand it, let me sit and watch change the system, let me sit and watch Care Bear,
I
and
don't
I
know it
want
either,
us
you
to
guys. Don't. I don't know it.
like, I want to sit here and watch and listen, but it's like, okay,
Yeah.
beyond watching and listening then, what are we doing to further educate ourselves? Like, you guys can give us a minute or 3 minute video, but it's like,
Mm-hmm.
are we
Hold
looking
up.
into stuff?
Hold up. Mr. Cam's Tex Kitchen says that affirmative action is racist because it makes different levels of merit for different races. Sir, I don't think you understand what
I
affirmative
don't think you
action is
understand
at all.
affirmative action. Affirmative action has classically been proven to benefit white women more than any other group, because
Mhm.
women are categorized as a marginalized community. And those white women who get into power perpetuate the patriarchy and racism by further imposing racist thoughts on other marginalized groups. So white women have used affirmative action as a stepping stool and then stepped on the backs of marginalized communities. Affirmative action has achieved nothing in the sense of true equality other than putting white women in a place where they are more approximate to their white male counterparts. And if you think that's because you couldn't get into the college of your choice, boo, that is the label of entitlement. That's the sense of entitlement, because you are assuming that there was a place held for you to start with.
I mean, if we want to talk about colleges and why people can't get in, you need to look at legacy enrollments, because those are the ones that are keeping.
Exactly.
It's statistically proven that those are the ones that are keeping people out, not affirmative action.
Right.
But keep going. Keep going.
What about Asian Americans? What about them? What about them? Do you think Asian Americans somehow? Do you think the model minority myth has helped Asian Americans? Do you think it has spared them of being attacked? Do you think it has spared them of being discriminated against? Do you think it has somehow given them a leg up? No, it's you assigning them some label that gives them white adjacent or more approximate to whiteness. That's done nothing to nullify how people react to their cultural identity. The fact that all of you that a lot of people sit here and think that all of Asians are Chinese or Japanese shows the base level of ignorance that we have. And again, if you think that somehow affirmative action is somehow giving marginalized communities a leg up, what leg up do you think? Because if you're down in a pit and somebody gives you a ladder, you have to get up one rung at a time. What difference does it fucking make if every time you get a rung up, they throw more dirt in that pit? affirmative action is not doing what you think it is, and it's not taking opportunities away from you. And the fact that you think that opportunities are being taken away from you, again, speaks to the level of entitlement that white Americans have in this country, because you think that the opportunity is supposed to be there for you and you alone. If you're so bent on affirmative action and being better, listen to my grandma's advice, which is no matter how good you are, there will always be someone better. And I'm here to tell you, I'm the bitch that's better. So if I got the job over you, it's because I deserved it. Be upset, and I just happen to have flawless skin in the meantime. So I mean,
why
like
do I
in the
look
sun.
evil? Like, why you gotta call me looking evil?
And you're a girl too. Did you know that?
Listen,
The bottom girl.
The bottom girl. First of all, I'm not.
She's getting blocked.
Yeah.
Second
of all, can we talk about how women on the app are the mean? Like, I posted a video and this
Girl.
dumbass bitch said something about my eyelashes. This other one was like, "You need to condition your hair." It's like seriously, the women on, like, seriously,
right?
Why do women
and
like
I mean,
that?
I've had women. I thank God I changed my DMs, because like women have DM me like, "Girl, can you get your eyebrows tweezed?" And it's like, bitch, I am in school. I am a full-time mom,
Right.
a full-time student. I work full-time, and I'm a wife. If I'm hairy, just don't be mad at me. My man still loves my fur. He still cuddles up to me. I'm warm. Be mad.
Right.
I'm a cuddle blanket. You didn't even have to pay for it. Y'all better stop playing.
And we're in the middle of a pandemic. Listen, I'm not going to sit in a freaking beauty salon so I can appeal to you on TikTok. Trust me, the people I need to appeal to, I do.
You see that? Life. I got a whole ass ring.
And listen,
yeah,
whole ass ring. I'm cool.
All of that shit is again pandering to the fucking patriarchy, because it expects us to alter our natural appearance to fucking fit in with however some man wants us to look. And if we don't, then that's a problem.
And if you're a woman who wants to engage in those things because it makes you feel great, that's fine. But you don't have the right to sit here and make some other woman question her worth, or try to ding her because she's not looking like your sort of standard at the moment. You don't think my certain standard. You don't act the way I would prefer someone to act. Does that mean I have the right to attack you? Does that mean I have the right to come at you? Because I'm gonna tell you now, I grew up with some pretty mean bitches, Christian bitches, no less. I got a mean streak in my system that is unholy. And if you want to play the game of hurting some feelings, I'll hurt all your feelings. I'll hurt your dog's feelings, and I'll hurt your dead grandmama's feelings. Don't play with me. I'm not the one. And I'm gonna tell you now, Karen ain't the one either. I'm gonna tell you now, change it to one. So you got the not the one, not the two, nor the three up in this room. You better calm it down.
Well, and also too, I always just want to say, do you know how hard? And I know you know how hard it is, because the majority of people who follow on this app do not make content, and that's fine. But you know how hard it is, and just getting over the initial hurdle of putting yourself on camera and then talking about things. And then opening yourself up to be criticized and people argue and all of that good stuff. And then you want us to worry about, okay, well, it doesn't matter. I could look like fucking Beyonce up here. Someone would find something wrong with me.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Like, you can't please everyone. But it's just so disappointing where I put a video up about January 6th or Trump or whatever, and some stupid woman says, oh, blah, 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 eyelashes. Like, I like my eyelashes. You will never catch me going outside of my house without drag queen level eyelashes on. You know why? Because I can. Because I'm a grown woman and I enjoy that. Mm-hmm. I like it. Okay?
And that's a hard thing, is as women getting on here making content, intelligent content, it's hard that the first thing that they want to focus on is your looks. And it's like, not me giving you like supreme level knowledge, not me putting time and effort into giving you content that I'm hoping will make you a more informed citizen, a more informed voter, a more informed person in general. It's not easy always getting on here putting psych content out, putting political content out, putting just social justice content out, and then to have your looks attacked. And it's like, that's an insecurity that I know I've had to battle, not because I'm insecure in my looks, but because it's like, do you even give a fuck that I'm smart? Or is this just, I have to put on a full face of makeup before you will even try to listen to the words coming out of my mouth? But like, does my brain need a tiara on top of it?
It doesn't matter though. I do put a full face of makeup on because that's how I like to present myself on this app. But then at the same time, it's just like, you're engaging because if you got to my page, it's because you are engaging in political TikTok, period. Possibly
Right.
social justice TikTok, but you're not in thirst trap TikTok. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
You're not in dancing TikTok. You're not in any sort
Right.
of TikTok that's going to, and even then, you shouldn't be judging those women either. Like, seriously, I feel like we need to, and it goes back to America just not being ready. Like, you have got to
Right.
separate, or
Yes.
just not base a woman's worth on her looks. And the fact that we get it from both women, I get it more from women than I do from men. That's how I know we are not ready for a woman.
We're not ready.
We are not ready.
I mean, look at Lori Lightfoot in Chicago. Every time she does anything, the first thing they want to attack is her looks. And I've seen more memes making fun of her looks than I have her policies or her behavior. And that's really telling that even though she's doing some not great shit,
and
you guys are still so
Lori's
focused on her
been doing
looks.
some fucked up shit. There's plenty to talk about with Lori. Like,
there's plenty to talk about when it comes to Lori Lightfoot, and y'all are so focused on her looks. And it's like, let's talk about her policies, because she's doing some shit. I'm just like, sis, what are you doing?
Oh, they're bad.
And it's like, oh, look at her looking like Beetlejuice, and it's like, what the fuck? God,
I mean,
it's
just the way that this country has taught us. Like, I mean, we're giving little girls Barbie dolls. Like, from the moment that child looks at that Barbie doll, you know, that's what we are telling little girls.
I collect
what
Barbies.
You are supposed to look like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're taught already from a young age, like, that is the beauty standard. And if you don't look like that, you need to fix everything until you get there.
Right.
Right. And then when people, even when, you know, these women do look like Barbies, it's kind of disappointing to see, because I feel a lot of women are hurting because they have put their time into their looks, and they've worked hard to meet those beauty standards, and they're still disrespected. They're still cheated on. They're still abused. There's nothing that you can do that's good enough. And those women feel so beaten and downtrodden. And it's like, there's no such thing as good enough for people. There's no such thing. And so it's one of those things where it's a constant battle of, well, I want to be beautiful and brainy, but it's almost like we have to teach people, you have to get comfortable, not just, you know, young women, non-binary, and young men, you have to get comfortable with your own kind of beautiful, because I love that I'm a little chunky chunk, but I know I'm cute as shit. And it's like, I've said it many times, I could take your man if I want to, but I got my own, and I'm very happy. But I more than anything am in love with this brain that I've been given. And I like how my mind works. And you know, I never expected to have 200 people following me, let alone like 9,000.
Exactly.
And I'm flattered. And it's like, to be able to put something that I'm passionate about out here for you, and I think you.
Well, how did that happen? That was weird. You guys both disconnected.
Yeah, TikTok's been having these glitches lately. It's been weird.
Yeah, I loved everything that you were saying though. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm one of the smartest people I know. I am not nearly as smart as the people that I see on this app or other apps, but in my realm of things, I'm pretty damn smart. And when people can recognize that and can say something about that, or they whatever, it just makes me feel really good inside. Like, I would take that compliment over, you know, anything about my looks.
It makes me.
I have the max amount of people on here, so, and I'm not booting these ladies out for you. It ain't gonna happen.
Who is that? Who wants to come in?
Cam's Texas Kitchen.
The one who was talking about affirmative action.
Affirmative action.
I really
it's just, you know, I feel like the talking points that you would have said about affirmative action, like, you can look up. So here's what I would say, Cam. Why don't you go ahead and look up the statistics as to who benefits the most from affirmative action, and then come back and see if you want to have a real conversation about that.
Exactly.
Because it's not going to be who you think it is.
Right. And that was the thing about sharing our path. It's like, I like not being the smartest person that I know. I am one of the smartest person in the small circle around me right now, but I've constantly said if I'm the smartest person in the room, I need to walk out of that room because I want to be the person. I want to be in a room where I can glean something from someone. I don't care if it's, a better way to, make my hair lay down. It's like I want to walk in that room as I am, and I want to walk out knowing something new, knowing something better about whatever it is. And I think that people get so set on appearance, which is great. I love looking good. I love feeling good. I love all that. But at the same time, it's like I more than anything love that I can put up a video of me going to get my booster shot and I see 80 comments saying, I just got my booster. Thanks. My sister just saw this. I think one of the biggest compliments I ever got was a girl telling me that her sister got convinced to get the vaccine because she.
Oh, booted out again. Let's see. There she goes. TikTok is weird.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Do not come in my live and demand anything.
Who's demanding things?
And
Except
I'm
when I get a request. Not going to happen.
I think the best thing was she said her sister got vaccinated because I spoke with kindness. And I was like, what? And she's like, you weren't on there like, oh, plague rat and blah, blah, blah. You just sat and explained it to her. And you were so honest and transparent. Like, I was scared to get it. And I love science and I hesitated. But I thought about this, and how it would be best for my family. And that was like, I like sat here. Thank God I'm behind a screen because as she's saying this to me as someone else is live in their channel, like, what? Oh I'm so happy for your sister. Like I cry. You guys, when you give me compliments, you may not see it, but you have me bawling like a fucking baby 90% of the day when I see you saying that I helped you some way, somehow. That's the biggest fucking compliment I could ever get is that you helped me alone your own life. And it's like, people are so great. And then I'll get that one motherfucker's like, hey, you're fat. And it's like, tell me something new, bitch. Go somewhere.
Right? It's just like, what?
And going back to having the brain thing and having conversations and stuff, like, oh my God, like before Christmas and everything, like having conversations like off the app with people like in Discord, like with Mute the Media and Cheyenne and Resist and Kerrbear even, like where we go on for hours about fucking philosophy and all kinds of fucking deep-rooted fucking political conversations. Oh my God. Yeah. I enjoy that more than anything.
It's the best, right? It's just
that's like, awesome, Jacoby.
Black Dahlia, explain equality versus equity. I don't think Cam will be open to it, but we can make it a nice little quick thing. Okay, so equality is we want the same opportunities across the board for everyone, regardless of race, gender, creed, what have you. That is equality, the presence of equal opportunity across the board. Equity is the tools needed to capitalize on those opportunities, because it doesn't matter if we all have the same education. If you're neurodivergent and you don't have a teacher in a classroom who can give you the tools to capitalize on what you're learning, it makes no difference that you have the same opportunity. So equality is the access to the same opportunities. Equity is access to the tools that will help you capitalize on those opportunities to the best of your abilities. It meets you where you are with your needs. And when people say we want equity, not equality, or equality, not equity, the truth is we want both. You need both. You need your eyelashes and your mascara. They seem the same. They're not the same.
No, they're not the same at all. And you're right. That meme with the kids in the boxes at the baseball game, it absolutely describes
that's equality, the best one.
Equity. Yeah, that is the best one and the easiest way to describe that.
What is equal effort, Orthotech? What is equal effort? That's the whole thing. When you talk about equal effort, effort is subjective. That's what you're talking about. Effort is a subjective term. Effort is something that is only measured, that can only be quantified by the person who's observing the effort. Because if I'm sitting here at a desk, you would think I'm not making any effort. I'm not making as much effort as a person who's possibly out there working in a field. But I am behind the scenes making sure that that person who's working in the field is getting a paycheck and making sure that they have equal rights and that their union is going the way they should. Don't judge people's effort by what you perceive. Everybody's role is important. And to say effort, to measure effort, because you're not going to measure it equally by the, you can measure effort, but again, that doesn't take away the fact that effort is subjective. Effort is a faulty metric, and it's a metric based on your personal judgment. Period. How many professors, how many geniuses do we have in history that were Einstein deemed a dumb kid, ends up being one of the most brilliant minds that we've ever seen. He's idolized now, but in his time, his effort was considered nothing. It's literally like they said, if you try to teach a fish how to climb a tree, you're going to be disappointed every time. Effort is subjective. And yes, I'm in a position to say that because this is my field. This is what I look at. This is what I study. I'm actually an industrial organizational psychologist, and I work as a grant writer and a social services department consultant for a tribe. So what looks like effort to some doesn't look like effort to others at all. I'm the one who's in a position to say, this is the effort we need over here. Equal efforts are literally subjective. Equal efforts, it's a setup for failure.
Right.
Literally.
Because by that, you're saying maybe somebody that's paraplegic or quadriplegic, they don't contribute, they don't matter. So that's also an ableist.
The cookies on the table you can eat.
The issue is the preconceived idea of others. Yeah, I would agree. That's one of the things that we're trying to conquer in a workplace. What looks like work? Because a lot of people are sitting here working on this hamster wheel. This whole hamster wheel effect looks like it's something that should be happening. But in the workplace, what a lot of IO psychologists are trying to do is get people to understand what real work looks like. There are times when you're busy. It doesn't look like you're doing much, but you are busy. You are doing a lot of work. But what this is this underlying idea of the hustle culture, that you're supposed to be running your body into the ground. And that's not what we want to do. We want people to be able to take care of themselves. We've come to this idea that the effort keeps changing. The goalpost for effort keeps changing because now employers have enough reach where how you behave in your life outside of their job, outside of your place of employment, can now affect you in your place of employment. And that's not like you've committed a crime. It's literally you said something wrong. I know a lot of people like to get racists fired and stuff, but all I keep thinking of, you're not thinking of the long-term reach of that because you are affecting someone's income. You are affecting someone's ability to feed their child. You are affecting their self-esteem. You don't know what domino effect you're causing because
I agree.
Effort.
I don't like the getting racists fired trend.
No.
I don't.
No.
I think that because just like you said, you're messing with other people's ability to feed their children.
Bye, Jacoby.
And are you solving the racism? No, chances are they're going to double down and be even more pissed. And I don't see that being the solution.
It's not. And
you're not going to make them stop being racist. If anything, it's probably going to reinforce.
They're going to be more racist.
And
there are a lot of people on here
like another job somewhere.
I've seen content creators on here, specifically white male ones, who are just like, I'm yelling at Nazis all day. I'm doing the work. It's like, no, you're pissing off racists who now have to go and encounter people like me in a grocery store, or have to come and be my boss, or have to come and interact with society. What you're doing is filling them with more vitriol that they are going to disperse on marginalized people. You are not doing the work that you think you're doing. In fact, I would argue that you're actually actively endangering marginalized communities more by what you're doing.
I don't know if you saw the video that Lethal Lex did about how white allies hurt the Black Lives Matter movement, but it showed like a lot of the protest and the actual where there was violence and stuff. It was incited by white people, white allies within the Black Lives Matter movement. Like they were throwing things and breaking windows, and there were Black people going up to them saying, "Stop! What are you doing? You're not helping us." And guess what? They were right. Look, I mean, because all of it.
And that's the thing.
black people burned down all the cities of BLM.
Right. We catch the blame for it. We really do. And the thing is, they're so short-sighted, like, I'm fighting racists online. And it's like, okay, but you don't have to encounter them. When you get off this computer or get off your phone, when you walk into society, you're still a white person. You know what I'm saying? You are still white. You're still not going to catch their anger, their vitriol isn't for you. It's not. It's for the people whose skin color they can obviously see. So even if you're like, I'm wearing a fuck the Proud Boys, blah, 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 great, that's dope. But you have to advertise that you're against them. You have to advertise it. I just have to walk out my door for them to be against me. Mm-hmm. I just have to breathe. I just have to exist. But good for you, because they just sat there and argued with you and got called a plague rat and racist and all this stuff, a fascist, on your TikTok and your TikTok live. And now here they are at Safeway about to be a straight up bitch to me for no reason other than I'm black. So thank you, because now you just made someone who already hated me even angrier. And I have to deal with the fallout of your actions. And I think they never think about your privilege still extends to TikTok. Where you get to think you're doing the good work when it's like, no, you really just made my day that much worse.
Well, and just not only that, it's just like people are not going to all of a sudden be like, oh, I just lost my job, I shall not be racist anymore. Like there's that's not gonna happen. Like now I get it. Being racist is wrong. Like, no, they know it's wrong. Losing the job is not going to do that. And
mighty TikTok creator, I have seen the error of my ways. I place myself at the altar of your righteousness and correct my sense of racism. I will no longer be. It's like, I think that's what they think happens. No, they're not going to sacrifice themselves on the altar of equality.
I will say this though, I do believe in, if you are a nurse or in the medical field and you are spreading misinformation about COVID and vaccines, I do believe that is a different situation of the TikTok call out, because that is your profession. You should not be spreading misinformation, especially when you are on the job. Yes, that probably warrants a call to your employer. Absolutely. That's a totally different scenario.
I apologize, ladies. I have just been asked if I can add a person of color to this chat, because evidently I don't have a person of color up on my chat. I swear to God, it's in there. So I can make it up. I cannot make it up.
Hey, Mark, look. It didn't rub off. You see that? Look.
I want to talk to let legit. A person of color add to the chat. Like, what the fuck, dude? Oh my God.
Like, legit, it doesn't wash off or anything.
I know. I am of the paler persuasion, but I still am a person of color. But I can see it's a thing it here, but not with sin. Like, no. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Like, I know I'm the host and I'm taking up most of the screen with my whiteness, but it's not all me up in here.
And if that's not enough color for you, I'm inked up too. I got some nice tats going on. Got lots of color on me. That's legit. You're Mexican. That's dope.
Yes,
that's
but
dope.
You said let a person of color on the chat. I have 2 people of color on the chat. So
I like your hair, Mark. It's very pretty.
And I love how the men always come in here and demand, let me in. Let me in
now. You let a person of color talk. It's like, my vagina doesn't negate my color, right? It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't make me less black.
You should be like, let a penis owner talk. Like, you just want to be a man. Like, there's no man talk. I mean, no,
in all fairness, for transparency, I do own a penis. I do. It's just not attached to me, but I do own one.
Yeah.
Well, Same. I have had a complete hysterectomy, so I'm probably the most manliest person now on the screen. So, boom.
Well, it's okay. We won't hold that. We won't hold that against you.
No.
We won't hold that against you.
Your wife owns yours.
I own my husband would agree too. Good on her.
Good on her. Good
But
on
it's
her.
really, it's
I don't need
what I
to
do like
add
about
anybody
TikTok.
else. I have probably
What I do,
my two favorite people that I want to talk to right here. So, sir, you can just wait your turn, sir. Calm down. Calm down.
calm down.
You know?
Calm down.
What were you going to say?
Calm
What
down.
you like about TikTok?
What I love about TikTok is that I've been able to find that community of women because, you know, I'm in Washington State, and so it's really hard to get someone to engage in a conversation with me in my area because either they're being very overly apologetic, like, oh, are you okay with being called African American? Did I offend you? And I'm like, I really, really just need you to just talk to me like a normal person. I just wanted the strawberry lemonade. I don't know why it's gone this far. I just don't. I was gonna ask for a pretzel, but never mind, because asking for a strawberry lemonade really stressed you out. And I don't want you to I don't want you to think you talking to me stresses you out, or get that one that is ready for a fight and they'll make a point. I'm like, you're right. And I'm like, what? Yeah, you're right. Like,
it's always like one extreme or the other, right? They're either super over the top apologetic or they're extremely in your face racist.
Yeah, it's like, and the ones that are just in your face racist, it's just, my favorite ones are the ones like, so like, oh my God, did you hear that another black guy was shot? And I was like, well, that tends to happen. Yeah. How do you feel about it? It wasn't good. I don't know what you want me to say so early, Brenda.
What are you supposed to say?
What do you want me to say?
I'm not for that.
I'm not okay with that. Now, can I
That's
please get my
bad.
fucking coffee, Brenda? It's 7:30 in the morning, and you're really you're blocking the creamer. Like, stop.
I think you need a new coffee shop.
I'm in Washington State. It's Starbucks everywhere, and it's like that's the safest place to. Yeah, I'm in Starbucks City. That's the safest place to go to, because when I go to the smaller ones, I swear to God, the conversations are always like, "Hey, so did you hear about this?" And it's like,
you're like,
no,
yeah,
really? Why? Or my favorite is actually when I run into people like, I knew this black girl back in college named blah blah blah. Do you know her? It's like, yes, we all know each other. Absolutely, yeah. We meet up every year at the yearly Negro cookout, and we shake hands and we talk about all the white people we met this year. Yes, absolutely. I know her. I know her. You want me to tell her you said hi? Oh.
Well, I live in Florida, so nobody
oh, I'm so sorry.
Nobody in this state wants to talk to me at all.
Oh God, I'm so sorry. Good God.
Like,
I was just in Florida a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely beaches. Mm-hmm. That's all I can say to that.
Oh, you went to Miami though. That's a more liberal area.
We're thinking of going out there for Disney World to take our daughter, but you know, shit. With this old Marion, I'm not even sure. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, we went and our flights did get canceled coming back. I knew it was a risk that I was going to take. Like, I brought my work computer. I was like, there's a chance we won't make it back. But we ended up it ended up working out in our favor though, because they refunded the tickets. And then they credit us extra. I mean, and there was 4 of us, so each person got this certain dollar amount credit, basically the cost of the flight credit. So our whole trip was almost paid for.
Nice.
And we made it back the same day that we were supposed to get back. So it worked out. But
nice.
Yeah. Kennedy. Yeah. Be careful. I did. Yeah, so anyway, I was by, where was I? I was by Bonita Springs and Marco Island. Like, no. Yeah, that's where I was. I'm waiting. He's patiently waiting. You're going to have to wait a long time, because you can only have...
And he said, that's what I thought. This is not going to go well for you, Mark. I'm just saying,
Mark, you have a hot temper, and lucky for you, I like spicy men. Oh, can you do me a favor and do like a pretty dance for me? While you're dancing, can you do like a nice little shimmy for me? Like, can you like work it out? Can you make it sexy too? Like,
oh God, David Stanton, you're back for more, huh? Man, these mediocre white men just love me. I don't understand.
You attract them, man. Like, they come in here and it's like,
Oh, he was giving me all the stats on how, Trump was so good for black people. So maybe he'll entertain us again. Because white men know
Trump was good for black people in the sense he made us thankful for our melanin.
Want to bet?
Yep.
Ooh.
Well, Trump did.
Oh, Mark. Oh, harder. Keep going. Don't stop.
That just, hey, bite your lip when you say it, babe. Bite your lip, Mark. Bite it.
The pillow. Bite the pillow
Bite
like
it.
a good girl. Oh, for fuck's sake. You guys are such, this is not S&M TikTok. It can be. I can open an OnlyFans for that where I just yell at Republican men because they sure fucking
yeah, baby,
love
you go ahead and you yell at me. Like, yeah, baby, go ahead and yell at me. I like it. You sit there and tell me how smart I am. That's sexy. Tell me how smart I am.
I don't get I'm not into kink shaming, but it's just weird. I don't get it.
Okay, right before I got kicked out, did I just read someone say it's uncomfortable in here for BIPOC?
Yes.
Where does it say that? Let's see.
I think they got booted.
Someone said, yeah, it's uncomfortable. Yeah, it's awkward there for BIPOC. Oh, there.
In Florida. Okay, that was Raven.
Washington. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, in Washington.
Washington.
Oh yeah, it's all it's awkward. And it's funny because in Washington they think they're so liberal. Everyone, from here to down to Oregon, they think they're so liberal and they're so progressive. And it's like, dude, if you just saw the sort of looks that we get just being anywhere, or it's literally one extreme or the other. The covert racism is the absolute fucking worst. But it's this either just flat out blatant racism or just overly apologetic. And it's like when George Floyd was murdered and the BLM protest started, I swear to God, my phone and my emails just, I'm so sorry if I was ever racist to you. And I believe in your humanity. And it's like, bitch, we have not spoken in 10 years. Why are you hitting me up? I don't care. Right. And it's like, was I ever racist? Like, so many. Was I ever racist to you? Yes.
Yeah.
Do you forgive me? No, I legitimately don't. I don't. No, I don't care. No,
yeah.
Stop. How are you feeling? Tired because it's 2 a.m. and you blew up my phone at 2 a.m.
Yeah, the amount of people that just wanted to unload and talk and for hours and hours after George Floyd, and it was like, this is emotionally draining.
Oh man,
we've been
got the worst insight.
We've been telling you.
They're woke but unaware of microaggressions. And I don't even think they're woke out here. I think they're sleepwalking. They think they're woke. They're sleepwalking. And again, it's what we were talking about earlier, where people think they should be patted on the back for addressing the humanities 101 of people deserve equal rights. Skin color is not dangerous. All these very basic things that we have to learn as children. I see a lot of people saying black people are taught to hate white people, and it's like, no, we're not. Actually, I think I was talking to John Scott about it. It's like, we've never been, JD Khan. And it's like, I've never been taught to hate white people. Not ever. I've been raised to be cautious of them. We're never taught to hate you. We're taught to be very aware of you, very cautious around you. And how cautious we have to be leaves very little room for hate. You work on making us hate you, but our families work on making sure we stay safe from you. There's a big difference. There's a big difference. You add the hate context. We are just being cautious because every waking moment, and I believe Raven and I have talked about this in a Zoom, we have to make these split decision moments and decisions of, okay, can I react the way I want to react in this moment? Because I have to weigh on, are you going to call the cops? How is this going to end for me? Because every hot encounter could potentially be your last. And it's like, I grew up in inner city Chicago, and I got to tell you, as afraid as I was to get in an argument there, I am way more afraid to get into arguments out here because I don't know, but I do know how it's going to go. And it's because of being cautious all the time. And I don't hate you. I don't hate white people.
I can tell you that white people are raised to hate. We are taught to hate people of color.
Right. That projection. It's like, you guys are raised to hate us. It's like, no, we're raised to honestly be cautious. If anything, our parents really teach us not to have hate in our heart. They're trying to teach us to live our lives as best as we can with the circumstances that we're given. And that's all we're usually trying to do. It's like, I don't hate white people. If there is a white person I hate, you best believe they earned that shit on their own. That is, it's on an individual basis. But as a collective, no, I don't hate you. I'm just worried about you because of what you can do to me.
And see, that's the other thing that people don't understand about the racist, because I don't think that my parents, at least they were not like ugly racists when they were younger. I don't remember hearing any racist shit. You know, it wasn't until they got older and like bitter, you know, with life, divorce and this and that. And it was like trying to blame other people for everything. And then somehow racism came into the mix. And so that became like a focus of one of the problems in their life that they had no control over, if that makes sense. So when you see these racist, outwardly racist people, no matter how happy they look on social media, something's fucked up in their life. Something is wrong in their life. So by pushing them, you really don't know to what extent you're pushing them to. You know what I mean? They're mostly dangerous people. They've got a lot of problems going on in their lives, and they're ticking time bombs. Right.
Oh, it kicked her again. But yeah, and that's the whole thing. It's just, and it's so hard to get past that barrier sometimes, because it is hard to communicate with people when you think that they hate you. But also, it shouldn't be our job to convince you that we don't hate you. You know, if you're really talking about you want to open dialogue, then be open to the dialogue. Don't come to a conversation with a weapon. You know, just don't. It's like a lot of people like to say don't bring a knife to a gunfight. It's like, how about you bring no weapons to this table? How about you sit down and you talk to me? You're just so ready to be on you're ready to be offended. You're on the defense because you're ready to be offended by me. You're not ready to hear me say, I don't hate you. I'm fucking terrified of what can happen to me or my family or my community if I happen to say the wrong thing. Or even if I said the right thing, you just didn't like my tone. You didn't like the way I said it. You know, because it's just one of those things where, as much as I would like to relax around people, I can't. It's like, I can't tell you the last time I've been in a room full of white people and I relaxed. I can't. And and that's sad to me, because I'm sure there were white people in that room that I wanted to shake hands with, and I wanted to sit down and have a conversation with, and I wanted to ask, oh, you have a dog? Like, I want to engage in this stuff. I want to get to know you, but I'm so busy being prepared for whatever fucking attack is going to come my way. And unfortunately, I have yet to be disappointed. I'm waiting for the moment that I get to be in a room and I'm proven wrong. And I don't have to be prepared for attack. I get to walk out of that room like, wow, Sunitha, you were an asshole being ready for an attack, and everyone in that room was lovely. I have yet to have that moment. I'm waiting for that moment. I would love that moment. But it hasn't happened. And unfortunately on TikTok, unfortunately on TikTok, it gets reinforced when we see these allies fall time and time and time again. And I saw the TikTok of the girl crying. The girl that was crying because, you know, she's like, it hurts every time we lose an ally. And it's like, you guys are leaving a void when you do that. You are hurting people when you let them down like this. And you got to understand that these are just not, your followers are not just numbers. They're actual fucking people who are looking to you for a reason. Like, oh, Mark, are you okay? Oh, no. Okay, that's just a light. I thought you had a cut on your head.
I'm doing very fine. I'm very fine right now.
I thought you had a cut on your head. I'm sorry. I was like, oh, shoot. Are you okay?
That was an accident.
Okay.
From a dog.
Oh, shit. The mom and me kicked in. I'm sorry. Hi, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Look at my dog.
Hi, puppy.
Aww. What kind of dog you got?
Husky.
A husky. Nice.
Oh, my dream dog. Oh.
Well, come on. Look at him.
Oh, that's
Aw,
beautiful.
so pretty.
That's a pretty doggy.
So, Mark,
That's
you
my
were
boy.
so incessant on wanting to come in and talk to us. What you got to say,
Yes,
hon?
I wanted to talk to the person that was just on the live. Like,
Oh,
Kerrbear?
she had to put her daughter to bed, but she'll probably be back.
okay, I just want to say like men are not as much as you seem to be. Like the way you think about them, you know. Like me personally, I was raised by women. I was raised by my mother, my aunt, my grandmother, and my 5 cousins that are female. Like I was raised to respect women. Not all men are bad, you know. Like trust me. And at the same time, I have 2 sisters that are 15 and 16 years old. Like I respect women. Like that's how I was raised. That's how I am. You know, like not all men are
Okay, Mark.
bad.
So
Trust me.
so with that, let's say, okay, you're the good guy in the crowd. You're the good guy. And let's say for every Mark
I'm not
that's in the
saying
crowd that will respect us, we have like
hold on,
10
hold on,
not
hold
Marks.
Hold on. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I'm the good guy in the crowd. I'm saying that there are multiple good guys in the crowd. I'm not saying that I am the one good guy. No, that's
Mm-hmm.
not true. Because there are multiple guys. Like I know men. I know guys that I associate with. Like I'm not the only one. Now, but my point is,
The problem is
not
there's
all,
not enough of you.
But
Like, how are we supposed to
the
differentiate between the good ones and the bad ones?
But at the same time, like you can't hold that against every guy. Like me personally, like I've been single for like close to 3 years now by choice. By
What
choice,
does that
I've
have
been
to
single.
do with anything?
Hold on, I'm not done talking. I'm not done talking.
Oh,
Hold on.
you get one time for that, honey, and then it's gonna be bye bye.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about not being a bad guy, but you're already throwing off some misogyny. But continue.
Misogyny. Okay, I'm throwing off misogyny by me wanting to talk. How is that misogyny?
The way you're talking to us, the way you just spoke to her, that's part of the problem.
Well, that's it right there. You just cut her off. You asked a question. She's speaking, and you cut her off.
She cut
You've
me
done
off
that twice.
before I even
You've done that twice. So that's enough for you. You're gonna have to go.
She cut me off before
You're gonna have to go.
Really talking.
You're gonna have to go. Bye.
Because it's not all guys.
Yeah, it's not all guys. When he got in there and started talking about, I've been single. Oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Here we fucking go. Somebody hurt you, and now you got to come and tell us about it.
Right. And I mean, the whole thing is they get to do that thing where, like, we're not all guys, and I've been hurt, but it's like, so do you think we're coming to this conclusion that because we haven't had these interactions with men, because we haven't been hurt, because we haven't felt unsafe, the whole night, like the 95%, or no, it's 98%. It's like 98% of women have experienced or will experience SA. That's a large ass number. That's a big number of women. And really, when they have you do the exercise, like, think about the women of your life. How many do you think have been sexually assaulted? Just think about it. Just think about it, because you don't have to worry about the perimeter. You don't have to worry about, how many of us got taught to hold our keys a certain way when we walk to our car at night, or never walk alone, or never pick up your drink after you put it down, or all these things that women have to be like, just like on it, because the second we're not on it and something does happen to us, automatically our fault. Well, you should have, and you could have, and you would have, and da 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 da.
And why did you dress that way? Why did you go to that place? Why did you, why did you put yourself into that position?
Right. And yeah, we thought that was normal. We it's not normal. We have to be taught that. We are taught as young women how to protect ourselves all the time. for this edification of every guy in here, we know it's not all guys, but for our safety, we have to assume it's all guys.
Yeah.
End of story.
And so you prove otherwise. Like, we have to protect ourselves. Like, men have, here's the thing, you know, women have been brought up to be polite, proper, cross your legs, you know, be a lady. And then they tell boys, oh, go out and be a man, and you got to do this, and don't cry, and don't be a this, and, you know, go out and get it, and go out and oh, you got that girl's number, good job, get more. So you're already setting women up to be a victim. You're not teaching women to be strong, independent women who can take care of themselves. You're teaching them from the gate to be these, you know, objects that men are just set to protect, when it's actually, you're teaching men to be predators, and you're teaching them that we're here for their taking. So we automatically have to be defensive by default.
And I will go on to say that that hurts men as well, because it robs men of the opportunity, the right even, to be vulnerable. It robs them of the chance to experience thoughtful, full, loving, not only relationships, not just romantic relationships, but friendships. It takes away their right to enjoy just being a guy. Like, just enjoy being you, because if you don't meet this certain if you don't follow this metric, if you don't meet this, you know, what fucking beta, fucking whatever, you know, and it's to have your manhood predicated upon being a predator, to have it placed upon you basically objectifying women. It does them no favors, and it leaves them feeling empty, and it leaves them feeling better, because it's like, no, you know, I'm the good guy and no girl will love me. And it's like, are you though? Are you the good guy? Because a lot of guys love to say that. I was raised by women, so we're rapists.
Yeah.
I was raised by women, so we're mass murderers.
It teaches them in the long run to be misandrous, because they're going to end up mistreating so many women, and they don't understand why aren't these women like me? Like, this is how I'm a man. This is how a man is supposed to treat a woman. And so by the time they get older, and maybe they've, you know, hit their 60s or whatever, and they're really not dating as much anymore, and they don't have any friends, and nothing really has fallen into place for them, then, you know, it's everybody else's fault. But it, you know, the whole misogyny, the whole white supremacy, it all, it may get you a little bit of power for a little while, but
for a minute,
at the end of the day, it's just going to ruin you. It's going to turn you into an evil, bitter, angry person.
Right. And it's like, you know, we don't, I mean, for, you know, the sake of Mark or any other guy who maybe feel like they're being attacked, it's like, from my personal experience, like, I want to be able to be in a room with you. Again, I want to be able to be in a room with you and feel safe. I want to be able to be in a room and know that I don't have to assess whether you're the protect my drink kind of guy, you know. But we live in a society where, unfortunately, all this trauma, all this behavior is so cyclical, and it's perpetuated. And we don't get, neither one of us, we are all being robbed by these ideals that we've been raised with, by these protections we have to have in place, these very toxic gender roles. You know, we've all been poisoned by it, and we're all being robbed of the experience of being able to simply enjoy each other. You know, it'd be nice to be nice to a guy and not having him think that I'm being nice because I'm trying to fuck him. I'm not. Or it'd be nice to have a guy talk to a woman and her not have to be on edge, like, and him walking away like, oh my God, why was she, like, you know, because he's walking away angry, like, why wasn't she open to me, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, exactly. The patriarchy has robbed us all. You know, men have been wronged by the patriarchy just like women. Y'all have been robbed too. More so, and it's evident by when you get in here and you're like, I'm a good guy. And it's like, are you? Do you know what a good guy is? Do you?
Right.
So
tell me, give me what's your definition of what you think a good guy is. Because clearly, I've been raised by women, but he's going to come in here and talk over women and cut us
Right.
off and then sit in here and basically demand in my chat that he be let up on here because he has some sort of right or privilege to it. You may be a man of
Right.
color, but you're still a man, and you're going to come
still
in
a
here
man.
and think you still have something over any woman that's sitting in here. This is not your live. This is not your room, but I always have the men that sit in here and demand, let me in, let me in. I never have women.
I'm waiting.
Hey, I sent a request. I let me know when I can come in there, or please, can I come in there? It's the men that always want to demand, let me in there.
You
Because
let me
I'm
talk to her now.
Yeah, I'm saying something that they don't like, and they got to put me in my place and let me know how it is.
Right. And it is like rampant in your chat, these men. It's just like, and it just the whole, like, they don't want to listen. And it's like, you make me tired. You make me tired. It's like, and to just focus on what Care said about men. Men haven't even been the overarching topic of conversation. She spoke more harshly about women than she did men. And I don't see any women in here. Let me in here now.
Right.
Let me talk now.
Right.
Like did you just miss all the things we had to say about women?
But they don't even realize that Care Bear is actually somebody who will actually stand up for men too. When she feels like there's a wrong, like she'll stand up for men. She's raising a son and a daughter.
Right.
So she understands that.
I'm the only daughter of 4 kids, and I'm the oldest child. It's like, I will stand up for you when I do believe you're right. I'm not going to make, general assumptions about you, sweeping generalizations about you. I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to say is, I'm not going to act stupid. I'm not going to pretend to be naive and think that I don't have to function in a capacity where I need to ensure that I am somehow prepared for what I've been told I need to be prepared for. And even being prepared, there are times that you're not prepared, because no one who's been sexually assaulted has said, oh, yeah, I deserve that.
Right.
And meant it. And if they have said it's because they've been programmed because, like, well, what were you wearing? Well, what did you say? Well, how much did you have to drink? You have to qualify
maybe
your
I
safety.
Did lead him on. Maybe I did lead him on. Maybe, maybe I did flirt him. Maybe I did give him the wrong impression.
I saw a TikTok the other day where a woman had to like reiterate for a young lady. She's like, well, he was aroused and like he got hard. And it's like physical arousal, a normal reaction to being stimulated to thoughts, anything can cause stimulation. You are not obligated to fix that. You're not under any obligation to solve the fact that he is on hard. That's not your problem at all.
Yeah,
especially.
Can we talk about men thinking that just because they're aroused or you've made out to a certain level that you automatically owe sex at that point?
Right. And it's
know?
like, or because you bought dinner. Let me tell you something, sweetheart. There's no mozzarella stick in this world that will make me think that I owe you sex. And I am a big mozzarella stick fan. And I will never fucking sit there and go, you know what? He did buy me a whole slice of pizza. I should let him put in the tip at least. Like, that's not how that's going to go.
No.
It's just, not.
He did get the stuffed crust this time.
He did get the stuffed crust. He got me Pepsi instead of Shasta. That's definitely put it on the boobs energy for me. Yeah, like, no, that's not how we don't think like that. That's not how that works. Sorry, guys. No. Sorry.
Mm-mm. Yeah, the weaponizing of sex, I don't like when either party does it because, I mean, we know women do it. Women definitely weaponize sex because...
Oh, yeah.
And here's the thing about that. That's kind of in this whole patriarchy. Sometimes that's the only power that a woman has. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're in that situation where this may be the only option for you to get a job or to get, out of some sort of issue in your life, and that, that's the only way you're getting that position, like, But yet, when
Right.
a woman does it, she's at fault. But nobody says anything to the man for engaging in it either. You know what I mean?
I really wish that people would stop maligning sexual freedom so much, because honestly, if you happen to be a young woman in here, let me tell you something. Hoe out, eat happy, stay hydrated. Like the 3 H's, just happy eating, happy hoeing, happy hydrating.
We
just
may
like
not make it out of this goddamn pandemic. We may be one variant away from them just
being done. So if you're sitting here thinking, what are they going to think of me? Let me tell you something. I stayed a virgin for a very long time. I stayed a virgin until I was 24, because I was waiting for true love like a fucking idiot. And I was worried about how I would be perceived. And I was, look,
yeah, you
I
and your
wasted
used vagina.
me and my used vagina. I broke the freshness seal on my vagina. I broke it, and I'm used, and I can't have a disrespectful mouth anymore because it's used. I have to be respectful. And it's
God.
like for me, it's like, yo, I missed out on some prime hoeing years. When you're sitting up nice and perky and you have a little bit more energy, because like there are days where it's just like, I want to do this, but
yeah.
I kind of want to watch this show too. I don't know. And yeah, you can get creative. You can definitely get creative, but
Yep.
And it's like, there's nothing. I'm going to tell you guys this now. There's nothing like sex when you're broke. It just feels much more adventurous, because it's like, it changes when you have a mortgage together and car payments. It's still cool, but there's something dangerous about broke sex. I'm going to throw it out there right now. It's exciting. True. Like, we're both poor. Let's play roulette with our body parts and see if we walk away baby free. Like it's exciting. Roulette. Yeah, it's like, it's exciting. Is it like Tupperware? It is. Once you pop it, it makes that sound. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
What the hell is up with that guy? Is that guy like a fucking sexual psychologist?
No.
Is he a relationship expert?
He's a relationship. He's supposed to be a relationship coach. And it's like, you going to somebody actually said, like, who, I don't know who made the TikTok. But she's like, he definitely went to dances with his mom. Oh, it was Glam Melanin. She's like, he definitely took his mama to a few dances. I was like, not just a few dances, but dinner before too. Got his mama a corsage and everything. It's like, that dude got his feelings hurt.
Yeah, some woman hurt him.
Somebody hurt him bad.
Away from being Ted Bundy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that video where he's yelling, you couldn't get my worst women. It's like, so would your worst women have to be the socks that like lost their mate? Are those the worst women? Or are the worst women the
right hand? Is it your right hand or is it your left hand?
Or is it the used vagina? Is it the used vagina that's not attached to a person? Because is that your worst woman?
I mean, do we get an individually wrapped D every time?
Right.
Because I don't remember that.
I like how Thomas the villain, how he basically called it community cock, and I was like, yes. Yes.
Oh my god, I love him.
It's like how many people have jumped on your pogo stick, homie, while you're coming here trying to inspect mine?